Yo, what up, there, everybody? It's Coach Shaw back again. Great day today. Great guest. One of my really good friends, back-to-back state champ. He was on a back-to-back state championship team, which he won a state championship in 2001. 2008 state championship team with Dillard in 2008. He's a Dillard legend. Um, coached at Meadow Lakes Academy, Broward County College. Also coached travel basketball with Team Durant and South Florida Panthers. Last year, he was at Jacksonville University, one of our veteran coaches out of South Florida, Juan Urbina. What's up, my guy, a.k.a. Chico? How you doing, my brother?
What up, though? Oh man,
What up,
we
though?
finally got it done, man. I've been fighting these things for a while, and uh, thought that the time was right to tell my side of the story, and coming up on just did 19 years in the game,
Uh-huh.
coaching. So some of these just are calling me Unc out here. So I was like, you know what? Let me tell them my side of the story, so they got a reference for, you know.
You're not ready to be Unc yet, huh?
Nah, man. Even though the screen is making them grades come in,
Grades
you
coming
know,
in. You
like
see my grades right here, man. I ain't
yeah,
had them,
man.
man.
Trying to fight it a little bit, but you know,
I,
they
I,
say it's undefeated Father Time.
I let them rock, man. So
Yeah.
what I want to talk about, man, this is about you, man. So tell us about you and how you grown up as a player, all in that Dillard area, that Dillard era where y'all winning a bunch of championships and you guys had historical runs. I know you had a back-to-back state championship. You were part of 2001 class. Talk to us about yourself and how were you inserted inside that program and
Uh,
how did you help?
uh, well, like growing up playing basketball, or just straight to the Dillard times.
However you want to do it. It can be growing up
Uh,
playing basketball. Talk about Miami.
I will
Talk about
start.
South
I will,
Florida.
yeah, I will start there because only child raised with played ball since the age of 5, and you know my biological father wasn't there at the time, so no uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, family members, cousins, TT, whatever. So grew up outside since a little puppy, and that you know how we grew up playing all the sports, football, baseball, and basketball. And my first love, I believe, was baseball. But I would have to a lot of times by myself, obviously. So I had to hit the ball, track it down. And when I
Mhm.
got with the hoops, I could just that's the one spot I could play by myself. So I started to play a lot, more and more. And I played since the age of 5, and I would take my ball to show and tell, and was
Mhm.
outside hooping, which was such a blessing because that's probably uh, my favorite era of basketball. Was my childhood, and had a big impact because everybody was outside. And I grew up around legendary parks here on the county line by McTire Park, and then nearby I had Carver Ranches Park, which was big time talent. And then we moved up to Fort Lauderdale when my mom got with my stepdad. We lived out Sunrise Boulevard, and I lived across the street from Holiday Park. Big airplane right there. Those that know about that park. And summertimes, a lot of NBA guys would be down here like usual. Scottie Pippen had a house in Fort Lauderdale. Mitch Richmond was from Fort Lauderdale for BA. Otis Stewart from West Palm. I remember watching Mad Max play all the time. He'll send me with the money to go to the corner store and buy him some drinks. I could keep the change. So that was my upbringing, and it was something about a male not wanting to go home after work.
Mhm.
And some of the old timers would go to the bar and drink, but this generation they would go to the park and hoop. So it was
Mhm.
such a blessing. Usually each park had like 2 courts, a
Mhm.
CBA, what they used to call it, and the NBA. And I was able to play with it from like the age of 9 and 10 years old. And I had a voice. And I could tell them, hey man, you get back on defense, you got to hit the board. So um, I was trained from a very young age to like be fearless on the court, have a voice, have a say so, and that's just what the environment bred at that time.
Mhm.
And what was so beautiful about that was the guys didn't want to lose because there would be 30, 40, 50 guys out there in the park that if you lost, they got to go home early. And they didn't want to go home early. So if you missed the box out, there was agent, like they'll cuss you out about that. And then you get a
Mhm.
cool old timer to come and show you the technique how to box out, how to make sure that doesn't take place off the weak side again.
Mhm.
really rich experience growing up with hoops, and it was a lot of tough love and holding those bar of basketball every single day because of the sunshine. And then when the NBA guys were there for the summer, all the guys that didn't make it or guys from overseas, like they didn't care nothing about the NBA dudes. And they will play serious and they'll play for the cash and it was intense. And one of the assistant coaches that coached me at Dillard by the name of Bruce Sapp, he was a
Mhm.
legendary ex-Dillard player. And um, and he used to go at him. So I always respected the neighborhood dudes that could care less about them dudes in the league. And it was just the love of the game. And the dudes in the league had the utmost respect for them dudes too, because of how hard they would go at them. And it was really good competition in the summertime. So I was blessed to have that background experience. And
Mhm.
I became really good as a little kid because I was outside 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day hooping from like the age of 5, 6, 7. Um, and then with my mom and my stepdad, I was able to where my favorite summers were I got involved with a doctor by the name of Alan Rose. Shout out to his son Josh. That they came and got a couple of us from the neighborhood that was able to play us play hoop it up young. So we'll play hoop it up young when I was big with the 3-on-3s, and then we were able to go to camps um, up in the Pocono Mountains.
Mhm.
And that's when I was 12 and 13 years old. And that's what my life changed because I did 6 weeks up there and I got lectures and I used to collect baseball cards. So like and basketball cards. So I would study, we were student of the game, we'll check the back of the cards and we knew what universities and colleges and stuff these guys came from. So I was able to have lectures from Bobby Knight, Coach K, uh, Jim Calhoun, Bob Hurley Sr., Hubie Brown. So some of my peers, excuse me, wanted to go in the back and play around and goof off and stuff. And I was sitting in the front row because I knew who these guys were. And I was all ears. So it was taking down so many notes. So I was able to get a real rich education from a dude from the crib that if I didn't meet that doctor, wouldn't have had that access to some of that high level basketball that other kids geographically have in the country.
Mhm. Well, growing up in Broward County, Dillard, going to Dillard. Talk to us about state championship time when you were there, and how did that help you grow as a coach and grow as a man?
Well, well, I, we lived in Fort Lauderdale from I was from fourth grade to seventh grade. So then we came back down to the South Broward Park region, and I went to Miramar first and had some success there. And but when I wanted to transfer, and at that time, which wasn't too popular, I knew there's only one place I wanted to play for, and that was only one school, and that was Dillard because growing up in Dillard's neighborhood, Dillard
Mhm.
to us at that time was like University of Miami. Like it meant it was an extremely big deal. Um, and I remember watching Tootie and Keon Doolin play a lot as a freshman and seeing those games. So I always felt like Miami High was like the Yankees in Dade County because of what they did with the legendary Coach Shaky and Frank when he took over after that. And I felt like Dillard was like the Boston Red Sox. And I wanted to play a part of that movement. And it was about 7 or 8 Division One guys on that team, and we had a wave that played a part in guys winning 2 other state championships,
Mhm.
and and got a chance to play for the legendary Coach Burrows. With who, when I got with him, that's when the transformation came. I wanted to coach basketball. I wanted
Mhm.
to be. That's when the coach Urbina side of me looking at the game differently. It started with him, and it was as we go into coaching, the role that he played in my life, and me trying to mimic that literally my whole career of how he made the impact that he had on my life. So the Dillard thing was NBA. We had 2 McDonald's All Americans nominees, 3 or 4 other high majors, two two guys that went Power 5 for football. Man, and we were deep. Like those Dillard teams were like we would have like 22, 23 people on the team. Like we would roll extremely, extremely deep. It was like the wave that Norland would have, it was similar to the wave Columbus had now, but it was just different because it was more of the neighborhood kids. So immediately I came back to the neighborhood. So it was a different time, and if you go to that gym, that is the largest gym in one of the largest high school gyms in the state of Florida, if not the largest.
Nice
And
gym.
a lot of people, yeah, it's incredible. It's a cathedral. It needs to get make the county needs to come in and touch it up though, because the last time I was in there, I wasn't happy with how the district is has to come back to putting money into certain schools. Especially
Yeah.
that's one of the crown jewels of Broward County, that gym. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it would be people standing outside to get in tickets when we played BA in Ely, the St. Thomas's, people standing in the aisles. We were playing in front of 3,000-4,000 people a night. That was just a lot of fun for sure.
Well, let's talk about where you at right now, Carroll City. Okay. I want to. What made you take the job at Carroll City? You being such a high profile name as far as the head coach coming from college, coming back home to Miami. Talk about your team and your program, and then talk about the program's history, all in one, so we can talk about Carroll City high school basketball.
Um, it had a lot to do with getting back to being a head coach. Uh, 18 years. What's unique about 19 years. What's unique about my career? 12 of those years I was an assistant coach because of my loyalty and my love for Dillard High School. I stayed there as an assistant coach for 6 years, and I wanted to learn so much as that I could from Coach Burrows. And they were trying to push me out. He was from like year 2 or 3. I was ready to be a head coach, and I milked it for another 3 or 4 years. And just learning from him and just enjoying giving back to the community, that meant the world to me to be able to give back. So then I went to Matter Lakes, where I had my time there, my 5, 6 years there. But once I went to the college game, um, I haven't been a head coach in a while. So I was curious. I wanted to be a head coach again. And when it came to decide on which school, I started to have once I made it to the Division 1 level, and I made it to those arenas, and I felt like I made it to the mountaintop of what I wanted to do in that journey. I kind of wanted to start again from scratch, and I was always observant of what was taking place in the landscape of Miami, from the wave going to charter schools to private schools, and I saw a lane with the public schools, and understanding that I was too public school student. I'm a product of the public schools, and I knew that Carroll City has always been a sleeping giant with a wealth of talent. That if being able to keep the neighborhood kids together and instill some a program and build a standard, and to have such a rich culture, and to talk about it, because when in the 80s, you're talking about a high school that a public high school that won a national championship with CY and those guys. There's a legendary coach there by the name of Henry Bell. That, I mean, to win a national championship, like Miami High was up there and was doing its thing and had its run, but they were able to have games at the Miami Arena with 10, 20, 15,000 people at these games. And it was such a legendary time during that run. And what they did in the 90s with football, and would supply you in with so much talent, that that there's a rich history of basketball, that like a lot of other public schools have had tough times, like the rich history in Booker T and rich history at Edison, especially on the boys and girls side.
Yep.
So it's something to where, okay, I want to take my hand, and then I wanted to do it too through the neighborhood. So I maybe had about 20 or 30 kids, because of the market, and because of the way that things change with young people nowadays, where they could just go play anywhere and sign me up, and I'll go there, I'll go there, I'll go there stuff. I said, no, we're gonna do this here for the neighborhood, and build a program that could stand, could stand and move forward.
You want to talk
So
about some of the kids you got in your program today, and
yeah, sure.
how they did this season, and
The season was unique. But you were at a former city at a district school, and the district, like, you got to move a certain way. So we got good news, as I don't know if you drove past our campus on 183rd, but
Yeah.
we got almost $1 million paint job with renovations. The whole building has it's paint. It's amazing. Looks like a brand new school. So they were coming in to do the floor. So when they came to do the floor, they told us that they were coming in. So we had to move a lot of our games that we had in December to away games. And then I found out I haven't coached down at the high school level in 6 years, that I got like 3 or 4 schools that canceled on us for whatever reason. So I was able to, like, it took us like the January to get going, in which we always felt that we were behind the 8 ball because I didn't get cleared until like the first week of September. So we didn't really have tryouts and workouts to like the end of September. So we only had so much time. Like, we didn't get the spring league, the summer leagues. We didn't have an off-season conditioning program. We had to figure all that stuff on the fly. And that's my favorite part of this year's team, was those butt whoopings that we took. We would look, we got our butts with 20, 25 points. Whatever the case was, they were against teams that were running year-round programs, but teams that have been together for 2 or 3 years, that just way as a program, which is way more established than we were at that particular time. And those dudes came back to fight every single day the next day with a positive attitude and a positive state of mind, and just got right back to it. And that's where we were able to, once we got into January, we were able to win like 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 8, whatever it was. And the team started to gel and get together. So that was awesome. Another great thing about the program, we had like 9 kids out of the 13 on the at least to be honor roll. We didn't get not one detention, not one referral, not one suspension. So kids understanding, like, man, it's deeper than rap, deeper than hoops. Like, we conduct ourselves accordingly, and being first class. Same thing with the JV guys. So now the only thing, now that the program's up and running, now it's just, now we could get to the work, the real work, and the development, the off season. We could get to them summer leagues, and we could get to those summer team camps at the universities, and we could start to really take that natural next step as a program. And some of the guys to highlight, the seniors that were there were beautiful, great young ball players, man. Curtis Johnson, great kid, Aron Scott, and Kamori KJ McGregor. Just dope kids that were just, especially KJ, just been there for 4 years, went through a couple
Yeah.
coaches, and just stayed down, and wanted to leave with at least a district championship. So, and returning, we got like 80% of our production returning, led by Jadis Kofer. He'll become a household name soon. Played like Brunson, lefty, just score the ball. Incredible, great athlete, great leadership skills developing, uh, just an amazing talent. Um, we have Twan Jenkins, probably my favorite kid, number 0. Just a big personality. You know, every team got that one kid that has a lot to him. Man, that's Jenkins. Big time potential to really score that ball. Then we got Shaquille Lawrence, like a little baby Ant Edwards in the making. Maybe not as good, but it just reminds me of him. That shows flashes of that explosiveness when he put his head down and get to that run. So it's a lot of we got a like 6'9" freshman that we're working on, and another kid, last name Johnson, like 6'5", 6'6", as a freshman. So it's just a lot of talent that we need to, potential that we got to get to work with, and the staff has been dope. Got guys that have some chiefs there that especially like the dude Reggie Owens, he coached, played there, so he wanted to come back and coach, and the staff has been really, really helpful, and all hands on deck to push this thing forward at Carroll City.
Before we get to start talking about college basketball, I want to let everybody know the reason why I was able to go to Florida Memorial and coach a championship and get a championship in 2022 was because of Chico. Chico was the one who set it up. Chico was the one who helped me, who put 2 and 2 together and made sure that I got over there. And I want to say thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that, bro. And
Oh, man.
when it comes to that, let's talk about you coaching college.
Oh,
Your time
hold
at
on, man. Hold on. I can't let you off the record like that, man.
what's up?
To me, bro, it was a no brainer. Like I watched how you move. I watched the way that you helped me as well with your platform, and I know what you meant to the city, and I know what you did at Miami Beach. I've always observed that, and you had your ways, and man, just a great guy. Anything coming through the city, I started seeing celebrities. They had to come check with you. It was Drake and Mayweather, them dudes, and I'm like, man, this dude got it going on. And then I got to know you, got to meet you, got to know you. I was like, this is a cool brother. So being at Flomo, uh, once I ran it by Coach Alamine, I said, hey man, I think I'm about to move up to DC. I got some things going up there that I think he'll be perfect. He'll be ideal. And once you guys connected on some Detroit players and some people that you know in common from Detroit, it was a done deal. And I'm happy for you and happy for Flomo that got that championship under their belt because it was I don't know 7, 8 how many years it was since they got it. And cool, I was able to sign a couple of those kids that I knew that they were going to be in good hands because you were with me on staff. So this is a dope win-win. And just to wrap some more, them kind of jobs and them spaces is important for home team guys to look after. We have enough talent here. Like it's a lot of these colleges and universities that come down here, and we got enough here. Like we're Dade County, Broward County. We're the two of the top 5 largest school districts in the United States. You put them back to back. There's no other area in the United States of America that has to go through the plethora of competition and talent that's down here amongst coaches and the players. So, and I'm big on advocating, just like you are, is pushing the culture forward. So it's important that we do that for each other and real recognize real. So that was it, man. It was nothing.
I appreciate you, man. You brought a lot to the game as far as like in South Florida. We want to make sure you keep that going and make sure we preserve your legacy. And maybe hopefully you stay at Carroll City for 10 years, or you go to University of Miami or University of FIU or something to keep you home, man. We would love to keep you here to try to make sure that you keep pushing the culture forward. But let's talk about
Hey,
you and your
hey,
in your
hey,
way. In your,
I'm trying to get out the game, man. You trying to slap me with another
I'm trying,
18?
yeah.
I'm trying to, man.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I think you should be in there, man. You're definitely a college coach, especially. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
From what I've seen in my eyes, man. And talk about you coaching college, man, and you coaching at Broward College, Florida Memorial, and going back to DC. Also, your experiences at Jacksonville. Talk to the fans about
well,
who you
can
are in that
we-
coaching round.
before we get to the college, can I get the Matter Lakes chapter so they
Yeah,
could, it could lead to the college, or we want
talk
to
to me.
which would because now we yeah, let me do the Matter Lakes one first, and
Okay.
then I could show them how okay it's time to go to college.
Okay.
So I could bridge it, put it together. Uh, Matter Lakes was the best time of my life because I met Talia there. I met my wife there. We've been together now 10 years. So got together, started, and I wanted to become a head coach. And the Roby family I met 3 months after graduation. So they've been step by step in my career and supporting me step by step in my career from my very first season at Dillard. So it's I've always told them they adopted me and I will be in their life forever, whether they liked it or not, type of thing. And so the Matter Lakes was a special time in my life because I became a head coach. I got to understand the hardest thing in basketball was those 6 inches they talk about being an assistant coach to being a head coach. And then I wanted all the smoke. I wanted all the challenges that came with it because I felt like I was at a penthouse at Dillard and I wanted to start from the bottom. I wanted to earn every single thing. And we didn't have a gym, we didn't have a feeder, we didn't have a necessary particular budget. And I just took once again the kids that were in the school and we started a program. And we went from losing by 40, losing by 30, losing by 20, losing by 10. And then when we started to lose by 7 or 8, you would have thought I was winning championships. I mean, I'm going out like, oh man, it's on. So, and then we started to beat one public school, then we beat two, and then we started winning by 5 and 10 and 20. And then Cyrus started coming around, and other good guys started developing in 2 or 3 years. And I would hear all these coaches talk about the entitlement of young people, how young people started to move a little bit different. And I never had that issue because we didn't have a gym. So we always had a chip on our shoulder that we had to work twice as hard. And kids, and anytime, as a ball player, when as a coach, as a human being in general, once you have a chip on your shoulder that you need to prove something, oh man, it's beautiful. So it was a lot of fun at Matter Lakes for those, I think it was 5 or 6 years. And I thought the gym was going to come in year 2 or 3, but so many, the company kept pushing it back and back and back and back. And with Cyrus came a lot of attention. And then I always wanted to coach into college level. That was always was my end game and my aspiration. And I had a lot of relations built from my time at Dillard because it was difficult to get Coach Burrows on the phone. So I dealt with all the players' recruitment, me and Coach Walker, while Coach Walker was at Chaminade. So I did a lot. I was able to build a lot of relationships since I was involved with the AAU and I was traveling so much. I was able to have some opportunities come to me. So when Matter Lakes time came, I wanted to go to the college level. Um, that's how it started the journey to JUCO first with Broward College. So
You was at Broward College with Coach Q.
yes,
How was that?
JUCO, my favorite brand of basketball. My favorite stop out of all the levels, by far my favorite because um, the chip on your shoulder again. Everyone, we had a couple of Division 1 bounce backs, but every single kid had that chip on their shoulder that I wanted to get to that level. And coaching with my brother Q, it was incredible because and Coach Alexander, who also used to coach at Carroll City. Um, we were just a great staff, and he threw me into the wolves and gave me a lot of free reins to run practice and to coach in games and in timeouts, and we had a lot of great synergy at Broward, and the kids fed off that. We had a great season, and we made it to the state tournament. We were runner up for the conference, and then we made it to the top the elite 8 for the state of Florida, which was big time. So JUCO was my favorite. We had DeAndre Pickney, another Carroll City
Yeah, with the
graduate
Misses, you were
at
Southern Miss, right?
Southern Miss with Juan. Yep. So and had a great career, and Juan did a great job. They did a great job working together there at Southern Miss. Shout out to Juan. So um, it was just a lot of fun, and the fun part was just that the van rides. It was no meal plans. It was a T-shirt and a polo. It was 4 for 4 from Wendy's, and we coming straight to your chest. There's a certain energy and a certain spirit that I thrive in and I enjoy. So JUCO was for sure. And then my wife, she ended up coaching on the girls' side, and then she got promoted to become the head coach. So she was the head coach for the girls' team, and um, she went something like 8-12 when she took over. I'm sorry, she went like 8-4 out of her 12 games. And when COVID hit, uh, it shut down the program. It shut down all athletics. So we were both without a job, and I had got like 5 or 6 like 4 or 5 phone calls. But my wife got like 12 or 15 job offers. And then we were deciding whether we were going to go her route or my route. And then she was like, "Hey, uh, Coach at Florida Memorial wants to see me." She knew Coach Steinbach, so we went down there, and then come to find out, Coach Alamine is in the same circle with Coach Q and the whole thing. So we both ended up going over there during COVID. So that's how we got to Florida Memorial, a future and a promise.
So I see you got on that green though. Is it
Yeah.
Jacksonville or you got the University of
Nah, nah,
Miami?
that's the you.
Okay,
Yeah.
talk about Jacksonville, man. How was that coaching over there?
That was just after coming home from DC. I had a relationship with Fly from Florida Gulf Coast because of Cyrus and stuff that we had to do prior uh, with Florida Gulf Coast. He could have signed one of my little brothers, Stephon Blair, which I was trying to have him go to the Florida Gulf Coast, and he didn't. He went to Central Florida, and that was the year that Dunk City took off. And I was like, man, I saw this thing getting ready to bubble over there. And so I had a relationship with him. He became an associate head coach at Jacksonville and was like, hey, man, I think, you want to make sure you get a Miami cat. You got to get a guy from South Florida. And there's this dude down I know for a while, Juan Urbina, told Coach Mincy, hey, I think you should meet him. And I think you guys hit it off, and you guys should rap. And when I got to meet Jordan Mincy, uh, it was like we knew each other our whole lives, man. He's in my basketball journey. Jordan Mincy is by far the smartest basketball mind I've ever been around. Like I've been around dudes at the college level, and I would get in trouble sometimes. I told them, hey, high school coaches, and where I'm from, like I got in trouble in DC all the time because I was in DC talking a lot of crazy stuff because I wasn't impressed up there in my time in the DMV. And I was like, you can't say that about us in football in South Florida. So I was like, man, we got some big time coaches down there. Like I'm 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 like this. I by far there's 10 guys better than me back at the crib. At the high school level, they just didn't want to coach or had aspirations to coach college or whatever, or had the opportunity, whatever the case may be. But like some big time coaches down there. So um, Fly understood that, and I hope more universities around, at least around the state of Florida, understand that we need more high school coaches at all levels of college basketball in the state of Florida if they have an aspiration of wanting to do it. I was just always like, yo, I want in. But I'm sure I'm always curious to know, because just look at the state tournament that's going to take place this week. Once again, we're going to win majority of the state championships. So like,
We're gonna get
and
your
we've been doing
predictions
that
on
for
that
over 10
in a
years.
minute too.
Yeah, we've been doing that for over 10 years. Like, okay, then we keep producing lottery picks after lottery picks after lottery picks. But like, and then you see there's a blueprint in Nova Southeastern. Like
Yeah.
they win national championship, but they also do a good job of having some South Florida guys. But and Dusty hit on a couple South Florida guys, but like a lot more local university and colleges. There's more than enough talent back home, but there should be somebody on every local college university staff that's from the crib because we're by far uh, deserving. And you got to know the lay of the land down here and how to move down here as well, because as you know, this South Florida is a little different from the rest of the United States of America, and it's a different bop, it's a different vibe, that how we move down here,
Now,
So
don't you think it's important for these big name programs such as FIU, FAU, University of Miami to have a homegrown kid in the area? I mean, I think you're supposed to be on one of those benches. I know you're gonna probably, what I'm saying, renege from that situation, but I think you're supposed to be on one of those benches. I think Coach Lash from Florida State, he's supposed to be on one of those benches. Like they always supposed to be a representative of somebody on a college game that can bring home that talent in South Florida. And I think we don't do enough of that, making sure that those guys are
and
on the bench.
man, this dudes that man, there's legendary guys. Lawton, Randall, Hernandez, Chachi, Art. Like guys that like the younger wave did in the '90s with Frank's Wade and with Frank Anthony Grant,
Mhm.
Pujols, those
Mhm.
dudes. So there was a drop in there in our generation for whatever reason, but it's for
Mhm.
sure guys that you put yourself there as well, like the Silk as well. Like
Mhm.
there's the coach from Riviera Print, like the amazing job that Andrew's doing at Columbus, like. These are bona fide, amazing basketball minds, and it's showing you year after year the product that they're producing. Like, and that's cool if we're not on staffs, but then I need to see some more tournament runs. Like, I need to see because we also develop an NBA talent as well that takes off, and there's like a gang of McDonald's All Americans that could have stayed home. And my love affair has always been University of Miami, and it always will be, and especially how we grew up on the football side of things.
Mhm.
And I think I speak for a majority of us,
Mhm.
Miamians, and that's our favorite team out of the Dolphins and the Heat and the Marlins. So
Yeah, because
um,
I'm just saying, like, if you're giving guys NIL money, millions of dollars or hundred thousands of dollars, why not give it to the kid that's closer to the house or that's in a portal that's from this area, and try to make sure that those guys come home and we can celebrate them too. So I just think that that's important. But
but
what?
100%. But you seen it with your people in Michigan, like with the Flintstones. You saw how that turned Michigan State around.
There you go.
Like there's been certain groups and certain waves to where like, hey man, like because that's how Kentucky or California or especially North Carolina, like they don't let them dudes out like that, man.
Uh-uh.
And if it does go wrong, like in the DC area, I learned how University of Maryland had issues, where they wasn't able to get the DMV kids for Gary Williams after a while. So and when that happened, you saw what happened to how University of Maryland basketball came down a bit, So it's
Hmm.
important that hopefully moving forward that there's more high school coaches and then that deserve to be spots and then see how great Dan Hurley is. Uh he came from the high school ranks. See what Nate Oates is doing,
Hmm.
another Detroit guy that came through
Hmm.
through the high school ranks. Like don't and that's the thing I didn't like about the college level. They'll some would kind of look down and like you looking the wrong way,
Hmm.
because the high school dudes have to do with a lot. If you think it's hard coaching a 20, 21-year-old, imagine a 15 and 16-year-old that grew up with an iPhone in his hand and got so much stuff going on in his head. Like
Hmm.
it's a whole different animal.
What
Yeah.
advice do you got for high school students right now? If you're a high school senior right now and you're trying to get a college deal, what advice would you give them coming from the college game right now? What should they do if they don't have any offers?
Man, the game changed. Like uh you should study every single junior college in the United States of America, especially with that rule changing. Like, man, like to come think about D1 the bus, like relax. Like that D1 thing is a whole different level, it's a whole different language. It ain't for everybody. Like it's cutthroat and myself that took me 16 years to get to that level. Like and it came to recruiting. I don't necessarily want to put all those years of hard work to put into a 17 or 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid's body. I want to make sure that's in the 21 to 22, a guy that's already proven that didn't get homesick or that had the academic already established GPA that's a young man about things and knows how the business of college basketball works because it is a business. It's absolute business. The more money now that guys are getting paid is getting even that much more expensive, and decisions are being made. So I would look, and now that the NCAA changed the rule to where you
Right.
could go to junior college and work on your game and work on your body and get your academic credits, get your academic life in order, everything together, and not count it towards your grades. I mean, count it towards your eligibility. Oh man, you're gonna be sitting good because now you could be 20 years old. You can have 4 years now. You can have 4 years left of basketball. Hopefully, you'll be smart and you'll take summer classes, so you'll be able to get now a master's deal out of it, and you'll be able to make some money at 22, 23, 24. You could potentially make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like even and watch the market how fast it's moving. Like the whole DCU case where since they don't have football, they can allocate their money just to the basketball team. So every single kid could make like $400,000 per season. That's right now. Imagine 4 or 5 years from now, And so I would tell young people to look at junior colleges, and there's levels. Obviously, Florida is big time. Kansas, the Jayhawk Conference is legendary for the last 50, 60 years of basketball. Texas is big time. California, you got the Netflix show where they don't give scholarships like that, but they do. There's big time ball being played there. Then you have your Midwest states, and Iowa's big time. I got to know Iowa Lakes through Q, the Iowa system, up in Minnesota, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I coached JUCO at Maryland at Montgomery College with my boy Jamal White. Shout out to him. He has an amazing year. Got a couple kids from Miami up there that is hooping, and that's a prime example. So I would tell a kid, look at all the JUCOs and try to be close, if possible, to a major city. So, like at Montgomery College, 15 minutes from the White House, you got two airports, BWI and DCA. You can come home for the $150 whenever you want to, and you can catch a nice DMV vibe, or you buy a nice major city, you can catch that vibe and
Mhm.
continue your career.
Um, hey man, that's a great insight. First of all, like I like a lot of stuff you said, but I want to jump right into to high school basketball this
Yeah.
year. State championship semifinals are going on. I want to get your prediction on some of these
Oh man.
semifinals. Okay, 1A Sagemont versus Impact Christian. Who you got winning?
I will go Sagemont. Got the young boy. I heard there's a lot of young talent over there, but the guard Anthony knows. He's
Mhm.
been a little bulldog, man. He's tough, and I
Yeah,
seen that coach's growth.
nephew.
And he had a really great OG in Coach Ross. And
Yeah.
Coach Ross and Coach Burrows were real close. And we had a kid that played with us, South Florida Panthers, Jeff Kobe, that was a part of that first state championship at Sagemont. So it's been cool to see Sagemont growth and um, coaches at Sagemont's growth as the program. Man, he got it back to and exceeded expectations of what he had it at, what they did with Ross. So I would go with Sagemont for sure.
2A Riviera Prep or First Baptist?
I would go Riviera Prep. I never seen them play, or I've heard that school's name 100 times, and I've heard nothing but great things from the head coach. I never got to meet him, but I'm a fan from afar, and I just keep hearing it. They're a great program, so I'm gonna roll with them. That's the crib.
I gotta go to crib too, man. Nah, this is the crib too. 3A Cardinal Givens versus Calvary Christian.
Oh man, that's the easy one for me. Silk is the and Steve, just childhood best friends. Love those dudes with all my heart. So gotta go with Silk, man. And Silk is probably the hardest working high school coach I ever been around.
Mhm.
Even when I was there and had conversation when he was losing by 40, losing by 30. A lot of people don't like to recall or remember that. And he's paid every single due and has just grown so much. But I've never witnessed a high school coach work as hard as that dude. That dude deserves him and his staff. That's another thing with these state championship staffs, because I played my part as an assistant coach at Dillard for so long. Like a shout out to all the staffs. Shout out to all the assistant coaches. Like the stack of what I know Silk would get a lot of the credit and he'll get some of the blame if they lose, but which I don't they won't. I don't think so. But the staffs, man, are incredible. So and his staff is amazing. Lawton's staff is amazing. Like Anthony is big time. The staff of repair has to be, awesome. Like shout out to all the great staffs out there, man. Because as the HC, your mind works on one level, but
Mhm.
a lot of the assistant coaches do a lot of that grunt stuff, man. Taking the kids home extra and this, that, and the third, keeping a lot of fires away, making sure the program is running smooth. So and shout out to a lot of coaches, young coaches that want to get into the game. See if you could anybody's staff and just play your part and take pride in being an assistant coach. I've
Mhm.
been in 2/3 of my career. I've been an assistant coach, and I've always taken the most pride as I can in that
Mhm.
particular role in assisting the coach. So don't run away from that or shy away from that. Shout out to them dudes. Sure,
Shout out to Silk. 4A Stranahan versus Gibbs.
man. And in my 18-year career, of my lifetime, I swear, there's no program that I'm mostly proud of from afar. I'm like, man, what's up? Than Stranahan. Because growing up in Fort Lauderdale, I remember the nickname we had for him was Scrubber Ham. Like, you can't call them dudes that no more for the last 10, 12 years. And I remember when I was at Dillard, a kid or two wanted to transfer there, leave us to go to Stranahan. Man, the kids sometimes left it was for VA or for Ely. I'm like, Stranahan 1 or 2 times. It was kind of weird. And then that pendulum slowly but surely started to swing, swing, swing. And now, man, they got like a little dynasty over there. I don't know. I mean, I know Ben and them with the Lions that started the weekend stuff with the travel, but I think they just kept kids home and had a big time staff, and the head coach is doing an amazing job. Man, that is beautiful. That's dope. I mean, man, Stranahan, big time.
So you going with
So I'm going
Stranahan?
Stranahan. Going Stranahan. I'm waiting on one of these years when we win them all. Like I hope it's this year. So they can see like Chico ain't just over here talking crap. Like, nah, man. Like we really do this hoop thing down here. It ain't just baseball and football.
So I got 5A. Blanche Ely versus St. Petersburg.
Oh, man, my favorite gym to play in and coach in as a visitor. That's Ely. Like Pompano. That Pompano for a lot of the thing. That don't mix. That don't mix, man. And and shout out to Coach, man, from having shout out to Coach Randall when he had that program. Even before he got to Ely at Deerfield Beach, he won a state championship with one of the coldest guards to ever come out of Broadcom, a dude named Julius Jenkins. And Coach Randall was like ahead of it's like the mid-90s. He was trapping all 5 guards back then. And then he went to Ely, and he got out of all he won a lot of state championships there. But 1 year, he got National Coach of the Year by USA Today, which was big for a public school dude. And shout out to his success that he had with the West this year. Incredible job, but kudos to the new head coach for doing his thing at Ely. So I'm going with Ely to win it.
5A state championship, Blanche Ely. We rooting for you, Ely. Don't ever think we're not. 6A, St. Thomas Aquinas versus Charlotte.
Man, the young boy that
Sandy
got to know him on the recruiting trail, but especially at JU, and his dad was a big time player, Wembley, man.
or
Like,
Wembley.
yeah, man, he's just a beautiful young man too, just a dope kid. A lot of talent up there. I haven't seen him play. I've been wanting to see them play. I've seen how they've been moving, and it's getting. And I've always been waiting on that wave too because St. Thomas is only a few blocks from Dillard, and always seen that football program be a national powerhouse. And I was wondering when basketball would get up to par, and it looked like it has. So, shout out to them. So going with the Raiders.
St. Thomas Aquinas. Shout out Sandy's, DJ Sandy, Julia Sandy, Westbrook, all
Oh, that's
those
Julius.
guys. Huh?
That's Julius. Oh man.
Yeah, it's Julius out
Yeah.
there. He's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
he's actually make those kids very tough, man. And man, he had those kids practicing in his driveway, so they
Man.
take no days off, man. And
No,
they're always eager to learn and eager to get better. So I respect the
man,
program
that's
over there.
good, man. That's awesome, man. I'm going riding with them.
So let's talk about 7A.
Mhm.
Seminole versus
That's a
Columbus.
no-brainer. I'm riding with the Seminoles. No, I'm just joking. No way. I think that Columbus thing might be the only team I could think of was as a fan and a student of the game was
Miami
that
Christian.
that 97, 90 Franks High team, but I never seen anything like it. I seen them play maybe 2 or
What
3
team was
times.
that? 97?
Yeah, that's with Udonis and Tony Latimer,
Oh, Miami High.
Steve Blake. Yeah, Miami High, Steve Blake, and dudes like Marcus Barnes and Jamal Diva and oh man, Simon Robinson. Those dudes. Uh, I was a kid. I was in 8th grade with that, and I used to see him play Dillard. It was they used to beat the brakes off of Dillard.
Yeah.
It was big time. But I never seen anything. I used to think like my Dillard team as my senior year was like top 2 or 3 best team of that. I was obviously being biased, but I saw that U School wave with Scotty Barnes and them, and then I saw and then Silk had a good team a couple years ago with Hendricks and those dudes. But seeing that Columbus thing, uh, I would like to see. I wish we could. I wish they could do it, and I know. Well, but I would love to see a playoff series between Columbus and Calvin. I would like to see the 7 game. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And somebody could put it up at they could play at Nova Southeastern a couple games, and then they could play a couple games at FIU or Flomo or something like that. And the series that'll be something to see. For
That'd be
sure.
something for
And
the city, man. Maybe
yeah,
after the season we can set something up.
Yeah, they set something up. Me, you need to get we commentator. They got to cut us a check too. We want to see a playoff series.
Maybe we can see something, man.
Yeah,
Maybe not a
man.
series. Maybe we can set something up. The
Or
Explorers
3 out of
versus
5, an old school 3 out of 5 game series. I just don't want to see one game because one game I could go either way. Like, I'm sure each school would say X, Y, and Z, but like I would want to see that as a fan. Like I want to see that 3 or 4. I want a definite answer.
I I really think out of 7 teams, I think I say 4 to 5 will win the state championship this year.
Yeah. But
South Florida.
it's been like that for like 10 years,
Yeah.
at least 3 or
And
4.
I
And
think,
it's different teams that just take, you know what I'm saying, the schools that come up,
let me say this
so
before we leave. I think Columbus High School has had the greatest run in high school basketball history in South Florida, maybe in the state of Florida. Okay.
Mm.
4 years
Uh,
back to back, 4 straight state championship and a national championship
well,
and
yeah,
national
but we
player of the
had
year.
4. We had 4 in a row. We had 4 in a row at Dillard too. I know. Nolan's had a string of them. Ely had a string of them. Uh,
Not
and I
four.
and I get it.
Not four.
You know, I get it. They for sure would be in the top 3 conversation. But I don't know, man. Um, of all
Who,
time, the
who
for
would be
sure,
number two?
man. Of all time, that's tough because I didn't see like the Jackson 5 and them dudes. I didn't see some of Shakey's legendary teams when I was young. I know what my brown eyes have seen or experienced, and they're for sure. I would say I I respect your opinion, obviously, because I know you. This is what you do with Miami basketball, but I don't know, man. But you know, did you see what I just did though? Did you
Uh,
peep? This has to be the toughest part of your job is when cause you like the Stephen A. Smith of it, and the minute somebody don't agree, they're like, "Oh man, put my player there." I can't imagine the phone calls that you get
oh man,
from the parents and these coaches, and probably some of these kids that were like, "Man, why you got my kid on there? Oh, you see my like,
dude.
man, relax. I'll say it for you. Jit ain't that nice. Relax. Like,
I I
give it
stopped
easy.
answering a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and a lot of inboxes. I just, sometimes it comes along with the game. In the beginning,
Yeah,
it just took long for me long to get here, but at that time, my skin is pretty thick when it comes to that. You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm saying?
get it, man. But I don't think people understand. Like, like, man, you at game 3 or 4 nights a week. Like, and it's you taking your opinion on it. You're not gonna be right every single time.
Mm-mm.
Anybody with common sense can get that. And the way young people, the way they talent, the way they develop is at a very fast, rapid pace. Sometimes it
Mhm.
take off overnight, boom. And sometimes it takes a little while to get there.
Right.
And and sometimes it's even slower or faster. But
Mhm.
the amount of schools down, it's the largest 2 districts that are back to back. Like, man, it's a lot of work, man. So I'm glad you don't pay that stuff no mind, man. Kudos to you, man. And I see the new nickname slogan, the mayor fair. I like that.
Mayor fair, man.
Mayor fair. Yeah,
I,
man.
I just try to be fair, man, about everything that I do, man. Like, people think I'll be biased. I'm not biased. I can't be biased. Even if you don't like you might like me, you might be my boy, and I'm gonna tell you my honest opinion, and I'm gonna be fair about it, and I'm not gonna. I don't play daddy ball here. Nobody's paying me. No parent is paying me to put their kid up here. I've rejected a large amount of money to do it because I don't want to mess up the integrity of it. So it's the mayor. It's to
Man,
be fair. I'm just being fair.
yeah, I like that. You should get a shirt made, man. You know what I'm saying? Get your shirt made, mayor fair.
I get it put
But
up
hey,
there,
man,
man.
all sincerity, man, I appreciate what you
No
do
doubt.
and what you mean to the culture down here, man, and keep being you. And every people don't understand, like every city that has a guy like you too, or a certain college coach, they got you the first person they call because you're the one that like has the ear to the street with all of us. Like I don't talk to too many basketball dudes, too many basketball coaches.
Mhm.
But if I need to know something, or me when DC, I'm calling you. I'm like, hey, Shaw, what's going on? I'm calling you or Warren or Silk. Like, okay, and I get an idea, but you, man, it's, and then people that bring a lot of things to your attention, man. Kudos to you being first class about it, man. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate it,
you,
man.
bro.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure. One of our legends, Mr.
No, man, don't
Chico.
say that. I ain't. All I did was took on this crazy little
You
journey,
went
man.
somewhere else and you came back
Nah,
and you did
nah,
something that
man.
a lot of guys couldn't do, man. We all appreciate it. A lot of these young coaches look up to you, man. So keep doing what you're doing.
Just don't
And
make sure they don't call me Ump. I had a couple of them call me Ump and hit me on Insta.
hey,
Hey, Ump.
I'm gonna make
I
sure
don't even
everybody
have
call you Big Uncle Chico. All right,
Oh
man. I'll
man.
talk to you soon,
All
my
right.
brother.
All right, bro. All good, man.
Yeah,
Peace.
yeah. That's supposed to go like this.